Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. This is my motorcycle touring gear overview video. In this video, very simply, I'll show you all the gear I take with me for my Canada 150 motorcycle tour, as well as explain how and why the gear gets packed the way it is. And that's where we're going to start. So this is not a review of anything. Selected gear components will be reviewed in great detail later. The overview of the gear will be done in groups. You can take a look, some of it is around the camera here. I've got riding gear right here with rain gear around it. I've got camping and sleeping gear. I've got food, water and clothing gear, survival and safety gear, and I have a bunch of tools. So we'll start here with a view of that backpack there, because that's critical for the explanation here. As this is a tour which follows in the footsteps of past gold rushes, the Fraser Canyon Gold Rush, the Caribou and the Klondike Gold Rushes, I've selected gear and packed to reflect practices of the 1800s. So this is basically everything I'm taking. Since overland travel in the 1800s was difficult, given the non-existent roads and the miserable means of transportation, prospectors' gear had to be carried on their backs. Okay? Taking repeated trips between piles of supplies and equipment. They would have one pile somewhere, would move something they could load on their backs, move it forward, walk back to the pile, pick up something again, move it forward, come back. So they had to take multiple trips to move about a ton of equipment for every prospector, especially in the Klondike Gold Rush. So for this reason, everything I've selected is as light as possible, as few as possible, and everything must fit into a single backpack. That one there, that when it's on my back, I should be able to walk with hands free, with nothing in my hands, nothing left to carry. This is how I can hike down the trails in the Klondike, the White Pass and the Chilkoot Trail, where prospectors walked in the 1800s. I know that motorcycle gear can be placed in panniers and side cases and top cases and tie everything down to the bike, but this is not going to happen. You cannot load side cases on your back, and you cannot hike down trails with stuff in your two hands carrying it, so that's not going to happen. Everything fits into one single backpack, so I'll be able to hit the trails. Not all the tools are in the backpack. Some of the tools, and there is just a small pile of it there, some of the tools are under the seat on the motorcycle, tucked away in fairing recesses, and because those kind of belong to the motorcycle, and I really don't want to carry motorcycle wrenches anywhere unless I really have to. So that's the lay of the land. Let's get started with the riding gear right over here. Riding gear item number one is this Olimpia mesh jacket. I don't know what model it is. It doesn't come with any model identification tags or anything on it. But I know it's well ventilated and absolutely not waterproof. It comes with a number of CE rated foam inserts, one along the back, extending from the base of the neck here all the way down to almost to the hip here. It has some foam inserts at the shoulder, nice and big, and one at the elbow extending down, well down onto the forearm, so that's nice. On this jacket I'm gonna be wearing, or inside the jacket, this selfie stick that somebody just gave me yesterday, and I will be wearing this thermometer slash relative humidity pan, little instrumentation, so I can dress according to temperature, and will be a cell phone in my pocket, and I have some IDs in this pocket here. I will carry the least amount of IDs and cards and stuff with me. I only have 4 pieces of plastic. A personal ID I can use for border crossing to the BC-Alaska crossing. One about extended health and health insurance. A debit card, a credit card, and a little bit of cash with Canada's funny money, these polymer notes, as well as there's going to be another video on coinage. Why Canadians have a $1 coin instead of $1 bill, and a $2 coin instead of a $2 bill. Stuff like that. Engineering detail coming up later. So that's the jacket, and that's how it's going to be kitted out. For pens I have this. This used to read Honda on it. It was branded like so, but this is essentially Joe Rocket pens. I don't know again what model it is. It doesn't have any model identification on it. But I know it's also well ventilated and also not waterproof. It has some vented slots on it. On the front I put in a CE rated molded knee pad because it just came with some plain foam at the knees, and also has some plain foam triangular insert here at the hip. That's how the pants look like. None of these are new or none of these are valuable. They are actually torn and shredding and disintegrating. I don't want to travel in good clothes, expensive clothes, or anything valuable there. You can see it's tearing itself apart there. Okay, also there next to it where the stitching is failing. But I've been using this gear for at least 5 years. At least. If not 7. Not more than 10. So that's jacket and that's pants. Over here, motorcycle riding boots. I'm not taking any other footwear, so this is also going to be my hiking boots. I know the sole on it is quite limited. Ooh, it's quite thin there. There's actually some holes in it. Again, I'm not taking anything valuable, but it supports my ankle enough, and I have some nice insole in it that's cushy, and I have a little detail on it how this got selected in the store. In the store there are literally dozens of these insoles that could potentially work for you, like more here and there's more around that way, felt, and you know. So you need to have your boots around that you're going to be wearing, hiking boots, motorcycle boots, whatever you have. And you know, when you look at the labels, labels don't help a whole lot. This one says comfort and cushioning. They all says comfort and cushioning and says touch me, but touching it doesn't really help a whole lot. They feel interesting and they all feel cushy. This one says shock absorption, which is a factor in the vibrating motorcycle foot peg, and so that might be good, but ultimately you're gonna have to try some of these just like so. Just stand on it just like so. And this one is the gel, this one here. You know, it feels interesting when you touch it here, and it's somewhat like a wet fish or whatever. It feels interesting and whatever, but ultimately this is super comfortable. This one here, the shock absorbent, yeah, it has some give, it has some cushioning to it, but this has the most, even when you stand on it for a few minutes. So that's how sorting goes. You have to try these things this way, with your feet, not so much with your hands. Touch me, cute. So that's coming with me, as well as some traction device. This one, it says winter walking made easy. Yeah, it's not only for snow, it's also good for slippery stuff, especially that I don't have any sole left on it, or it's fairly smooth, so that's also coming with me. Rain gear, as none of this is rainproof or waterproof. Here is some pants. That's how they look like, black and unidentified. And here is how the jacket looks like. It says Gears Motorsports on it and Dry Tech. Also has this high-vis strips on the sleeves and these inserts on, but this is not high-vis, just some kind of insert at the end of the leggings. That's how the rain gear looks like, and it's packed in an unmarked, unidentified black bag that closes with a zip. That's rain gear. It's been tested and proven, and it works, and I can use it because I'm not going to take a sleeping bag with me, so I can layer up if I'm cold. I can sleep with those on and also sleep with my gear on, whatever it takes. So for heat management wise, let's take a look at some of the electronics here. Besides so we're done with phone and that. Over here I have a GPS mount, and the GPS mount is of course missing from the case. It's mounted on the bike. I have a separate video on it. I'm going to taking this GPS device with me. It's fairly new from Magellan, and it's this model 2620-LM, and I'll review this later. It fits into this. This is part of the GPS mount. Fits into this case, so it's waterproof. This is meant to be a marine. This is marine equipment, not sold in motorcycle stores. It needs to be plugged into a 12-volt power outlet, and I'm gonna be using this little thing here. It's just a two-way USB charger, but the voltage on some of, or the amperage is critical on some of these things. So I have an outlet on the motorcycle aftermarket that has a 15 amp fuse and a thick enough wire to carry 15 amps, and this is going to be 2.0 amp, a maximum of 2.1 amps. It says so somewhere. Yeah, it's this brand, and there, 2.1 amps, that's maximum. So it works for charging the GPS and the phone at the same time. Over here I've got camera gear. The camera of course is in my hand. For charging the camera's batteries I have to carry this big. It's big, but it's not especially heavy. It is this mobile power outlet, 75 watts, and if you divide that by 12 volts you can get some amperage out of it, and so that's the amperage rating on this one. And camera gear is just camera gear with memory cards, my pass for some of the National Historic sites that has a beaver on it. That's why I had a beaver with, oh, I don't want to lose the SD card. There, about there, that's how this looks like for visiting some of the National Historic sites in Canada. Discovery Pass there with a cute beaver on it. So that's electronics. Let's move on to tools. One more item here is not entirely camera gear, but digital electronic scale. I'm going to be taking this with me, not to measure gold nuggets, although I could do that. I'm going to measure a test mass, and this has to do with the changing strength of gravity field along the Earth at different latitudes and different elevations. So I'm carrying this and its test mass, completely separate video. Over there in the corner I have a small handheld GPS device, forgot to mention that as well, coming with me. Over here I have a bunch of tools. This is almost all the tools. This is my Deluxe axle stand. I know sticks grow everywhere, but when you have a flat tire and it's dark or getting dark, whatever, wasting time on cutting a stick and finding one that's strong enough and whatever, so I'm not doing it. I just carry a stick, really lightweight. It's about 100 grams. I'm gonna open this bag in a sec, but over there what I have by and large, the idea is flat repair. Okay, so I have here a pump that I can carry. It plugs into the 12-volt power outlet that I installed on the bike and has been tested, and it works. Powered by the bike, and it does inflate air, so that one is there. I also have this emergency tire sealant, as well as different patches there for plugging a flat there, as well as a couple of other emergency stuff like high-vis wristbands, some orange marking tape, so it's and a head flashlight right here. Okay, so we're drifting away from tools a little bit into emergency supplies, but also these are fuses, selected fuses that I actually have on the motorcycle, not just any fuses, as well as a very small snap ring pliers bits in it, and some 220 grit sandpaper. Okay, so that's that box. The idea is flat repair. This is empty, but this is a thread lock, a tube of thread lock, a small tube, the lightest amount possible, and it's obviously for spreading it on the threaded end of threaded fasteners, such as foot peg bolts and those kind of things. If they come loose or whatever, I have a meaningful ways of fastening it. I'm also going to carry this liquid gasket. If something cracks because a rock is thrown at the bike by the wheel or something like that, and it cracks some of the aluminum casings, I have at least a chance of somehow repairing it and plugging it and whatever, so I don't lose all of the oil. This bar here is not negligible. This is a breaker bar. I have to carry this with me in case I need to take out either the front axle or the rear axle. The short wrenches, the short ratchet is just cannot do it, so I must carry that one. It's not negotiable. Over here I have a Camp X, just like so, fairly straightforward, which is going to be featured most often as a hammer, and have a funnel, long and skinny for gasoline transfer, and the same for this tubing here with this hand pump, although there are gas stations everywhere, and the gas tank will not need to be supplemented, whatever, just in case. It weighs next to nothing and takes up very little space, easy to carry. Let's take a look at the tools. The tools here have been selected with great care, and I was individually measuring different sockets that I could carry, measured them all and selected the ones that weigh the least. Okay, that's a connecting link for my motorcycle chain, just in case it flies apart somehow for some whatever odd reason. Okay, connecting link, motorcycle chain. I have flat screwdriver, and on the other side Phillips number 2. I don't need any other sizes, this is it. I have a single socket handle, just like so, or a single ratchet handle for the 3/8 size sockets, and the skinny one, that's okay, that's a tire pressure gauge, and the skinny one over here for some of the smaller bolts that I have. I have two 12 mils for the Ninja, 12 mil like that kind of wrenches, a single 10 mil, and the rest. Oh, this is an important center punch that works with hand riveting. Should it come to hand riveting, I have the tools with it and the hammer, so I can get this done just in case. I have tweezers of this kind. It's also tool / emergency supply, another kind of tweezers with this kind of lance ends. And for sockets wise, I have 3 mil Allen key. That's what I have in mind there. 3 mil, 4 mil, 5 mil, 6 mil. Those are the sizes I have. This one is 8 mil. Most of these are multi-use. Here is another 8 mil with a short extension that matches my short little socket there. So how I ended up with this list and these sockets, so some of them are multi-use, some of them are single-use. 17 mil socket. Only the oil drain bolt is 17 mils, nothing else on the bike. If it shakes loose or whatever and I have to tighten it, I don't want to carry a huge heavy crescent wrench. I rather carry a small little socket like so. This is for the handlebars center bolt. Should it rattle loose, I can tighten it without losing my steering. Okay, so that's the idea. That's how it goes. Very few tools, as you can see, but everything I need. 12 mil bolts for chain tension adjustment, as well as clutch cable adjustment at the course adjuster right next to the clutch on the top of the engine, or whatever behind the engine. Okay, some of the small ratchet is for some 8 and 10 mil bolts, and the biggie one is for 10, 12 and the 17 mil sockets, so nothing else. So that's it. Very few tools. I've got 2 more sockets already on the motorcycle tucked away in body panels. One for removing the axle, and one the front axle, and one for the rear axle nut. I also have 4 pliers. I'll show you those on the motorcycle, also tucked away. Relating to flat repair or motorcycle axle removal, I tuck them away in body panels and recesses on the bike. I don't want to use them, but I need these tools to get to those tools. So this is coming in the backpack. Everything else is on the bike, under the seat, and in fairing recesses. I'll show you. And like I said, I have the rest of the tools here on the bike with some sense of electrical safety and some sense of frequency of use packed. So what do we have here? Utility knife. It's easy to access, just pop the seat, done. Underneath there's a rag just in case you have to wipe up something. With it, easy to access. Wrapped in the rag is my Canada 150 Tour stone. Its measurement story is on another video. Right next to it is my disc lock. There, the disc lock that bent my brake. But now this time it has alarm in it, or what, it has battery in it, so the alarm works on it. And this is just tucked away like so for easy access and fast access, just in case I need them. Over here I filled the fairing with goodies, and let's have a look-see on what we have here. On this side here I have a little bit of wire. This is just bare wire. This is more wire, just in case you wipe out and you need some wire. This is coated wire. This is solid wire. It's not this is used for rebar work, okay? This is not electrical wire. And this little guy here is this one is a voltmeter that's tucked away here, and is parking aptly right next to the fuses here for the ABS. Over here on this side of the fairing I have a tub of lard, this tube of grease that comes out eventually, like so, with some with some fitting there, some grease. It's unopened. If I need the knife is there. And unopened meaning it's like this, okay, so it's unopened there. I really don't want to be greasing anything, but if I have to, the rag is there for it. I have another bag of goodies here. This is in a bag that can be sealed pretty well. These are tools I really don't want to use. So, wiring thing, pliers for it. Alright, I don't want to short the battery now, just for the demo. Long nose pliers if I have to take out the pin, or the slip joint pliers for the pin at the rear axle or whatever jobs. This one for snap rings. I really don't want to work with these tools whatsoever, so they live tucked away in a location that moisture isn't getting to them, and they just, okay, I'll work out the air front later. I have here a blue thread lock here. That's important and is fairly easy to access because it's not really tucked away. And in this Ziploc bag I got the sockets for the axle work. 32 mils for the rear axle, and this big 22 mil for the front axle, just in case the axle needs to come out for whatever catastrophic or whatever reasons. I really don't want to take them out. And it's wrapped in plastic, not so much for considerations with moisture, more so considerations with the battery terminals. The negative here, leading to the ground, is not protected. The positive has this red vinyl protection on it, but there's extra because of the Ziploc that wraps the tools, so that's that they don't ever come into contact. Okay, and so that's how this looks. Now I have to tuck everything away. So I just want to lower the center of gravity as much as I possibly can, and I don't want to lug any of these on my back ever. I've made a few minor changes and upgrades to the gear on the bike. First off, I have a beaver now for speedometer. The number of beaver teeth showing corresponds to the speed I'm doing. The Canada 150 flag lives in a fairing recess down here, and I've taken the alarmed disc lock out from underneath the passenger seat and fitted it on this hook. The pin goes through a hole in the hook, and the hook is hooked on a bracket that's holding the reservoir here. So I'm gonna put some pads on this steel thing so it's not beating up the aluminum fittings and finish on the suspension here and steering. So but otherwise it's gonna be doing fine here. Over here I've got the chain lubricant wrapped up, and it's a spray bottle wrapped up in the waxy paper that this new chain came in. So the waxy paper is going to be used, of course, to cover up the fairing there and the exhaust components and the tire, so the lubricant doesn't go on the tire when the chain is lubricated. Every 500 or every 1000 kilometers, depending on whose manual and whose recommendation you're reading, chain needs re-lubrication. So in other words, once a day on a motorcycle tour. I've got this stylish piece of plywood here fitted with this velcro strap on the frame here, not interfering with the suspension and the swing arm. It's gonna be underneath the side stand in loose ground. And because the alarm padlock is disc lock is not here anymore, I'm able to fit here the tire plugs and the fuses and all of these tools in a Ziploc bag so as to keep moisture out, except these ones. These are stainless steel already, so they are fine, and everything here fits underneath this seat and I don't have to carry it on my back. They belong to the bike. Next batch, because we have some survival items, let's do the rest of the survival items. Let's look at the types of emergencies that we need gear for. Emergencies could include encounter with wildlife, especially cougars and bears, being lost in the wilderness hopelessly and or being injured, possibly needing rescue, maybe air rescue, and 3, running out of gas in the middle of nowhere. Let's start with the third one. You've seen this contraption just a few minutes ago. This is part of that, dealing with that emergency, part of tools, as well as I have 3 of these water bottles. They can be used for storing water, or that could be an emergency, or storing gasoline. Some of these can double as flotation device or pillow, or separating you from the cold, say snowpack or whatever. So it could be used for thermal insulation as well, with some twigs or whatever across, so they can be used in multiple emergency scenarios. For encounter with wildlife, we've got audible, visual, and olfactory defenses or approaches. So this is bear spray. I hope it stinks enough for the bear. This one is an air horn. I hope it's loud enough for the bear. I'm not connecting the 2 halves so that the air doesn't get, the pressurized air doesn't leak out from the container. So they're going to be kept separately. And I'm not carrying the case either. And I have a bunch of whistles, orange so you can see them, small bear bell, and a big cowbell which is on the backpack. I also have this, you've seen this, this orange flagging, surveyor's flagging, that also can help, as well as don't discount your own helmet that you have with you. When they say curl up on the ground and protect your vital organs, your head is your vital organ, so there is something to help against bear attacks, as well as don't forget your hatchet, so you can bite back, or you can, kitty has claws, so do bears. You also have claws. There is one. Put a string through it so that it doesn't fly away from your wrist and bite back at the teddy. Alright, next one, just so as to discourage further bites, or bite exchanges. I'm not saying pick a fight with the bear. Hell no, forget it. So, okay, but this is some of the stuff I have with me. I also have this second type of emergency, 45-minute wax flare. Okay, it's gonna burn for 45 minutes, just in case you need an air rescue and you need to be picked up and your location clearly marked. But the same surveyor flagging wherever I threw it. This surveyor tape can also be used for marking your location clearly. Of course, this works in visible light or daytime only. This works nighttime, this works nighttime as well. So, what else do we have? Oh, I have an emergency radio, which is a like AM/FM radio with batteries and everything, good to go. I also have a knife, which is a little tube, stainless steel. It's a diving store from yet another marine equipment, stainless steel knife. Okay, so it's not a problem if it gets into salt water and whatever. Not so much for eating, more so for encounter with wildlife. You know, if it gets problematic, at least you have some claws with you to bite back at the teddy, something like that. I also have, oh yeah, this is important. Alright, this is a case for your glasses. If you wear glasses like I do and you don't want to wear contacts, whatever, spare glasses or something in a case that, I'm not saying it's protecting against crush or crushing injuries or whatever, but something. I also have, maybe I'm going to take it out because they're just going to scratch each other. The small screwdriver is going to travel in that photo bag for adjusting screws, whatever. You can bend the metal should there be a need to bend it back so you can see where you're going, whatever. So that's emergency supply together with this small screwdriver that matches the screws in the glasses. This is the only tripod I'm taking. That's not an emergency supply, just going into the photo bag or camera bag. And this is a tape measure. How is a tape measure an emergency supply? Well, if you need to measure something like a stick, or you need to fabricate a splint or something, and you need to measure something and you're trying to cut it with a knife or with the axe, or I also have a saw. I will find it and show you. Then, you know, you can, I'm not saying start constructing with a accurate cuts like tape measure, but you can have at least some good idea of some sizes of bolts and something if something is missing from your bike or whatever. Okay, it weighs next to nothing, handy. Next, first aid kit on the ground with some, maybe this is not a spill kit, but something like that, some absorbent piece of t-shirt, bleached out piece of garbage, also bleeding or oil spill, whatever, either which way, you know, take your pick. Same stuff. This is used in mechanics shops as well as in medical supplies. Absorbent pad. I have a bunch of zap strap here, but zap straps to tie together fairing or whatever if you crash and you need some. Very important. Fire starter. You need to be able to start a fire because your emergency flare is not gonna be igniting itself with goodwill and prayers, so that's why you need this lighter, as well as a triangular bandage for making splints, you know, broken arms. With encounter with wildlife and being crushed, you know, so the crush type injuries, broken bones type injuries are the major emergencies here. Gloves. Medical gloves are good for three things. Medical things is obviously to working on your motorcycle if you need to, and it's greasy and oily and whatever. You don't want to do hand washes. You can just, you know, wear disposable gloves. Third thing, rain. And this is why I have my motorcycle gloves here and not with the gear review. Okay, preferably wear the gloves on the outside, the waterproof gloves, not on the inside as much as possible, because then you're going to have a wet soggy layer pressed tight against your skin if you wear your gloves on the inside, but you're going to be better off wearing the gloves on the outside if they fit somehow. Some do stretch so that they work. Either which way, wearing medical gloves, if you have non-waterproof gloves, wearing these medical gloves underneath is going to be quite possibly, could be saving your life from hypothermia and shivering and being miserable. Now, BC is on fire, there is a campfire ban, but if you're hypothermiated, by all means, you know, take care of it. I'm not saying violate the fire ban and make a bonfire and a campfire of stupidity. No, I'm talking being injured and being lost in the wilderness and possibly needing rescue. Okay, so that's that. I have a bunch of abdominal pads and major gauze packs for major bleeding and stuff, and some peroxide there, hydrogen peroxide, for cleaning up wounds from being mauled by a bear or whatever, as well as a few of those little cutesy little band-aids. And yeah, not that you're gonna likely to need some, and so that's what we have here, a tensor bandage, something that you can make a splint, you can cut something in the woods if you are able, if you're not too badly injured, and splint your own limbs somehow. That's why I have a saw. So there you have it. Any of these gardening, folding, pruning saws will work. Make sure the blades are sharp. This one can look in several positions, and make sure you know how to use them. This one's broken there at the end, but this is $25 for a replacement blade, and this one is $18 for blade and handle together. No replacement blade for this one. This one is longer, easier to cut bigger pieces of wood with, but is also heavier because it's longer. So figure this one out for yourself. One more type of medical emergency is bug bites, and fever and that kind of stuff. So if you have a little pack of aspirin or a little pack of bug relief with you, it helps. It's my main line of defense against bugs is the motorcycle riding gear itself. This is just stands in, so nothing much is gonna bite through this one in terms of bug sizes and whatever. Yes, you're gonna be hot. I think, well, pick and choose. Do you want to be hot or do you want to be itchy? So that goes that. Next one, blankets. This is emergency survival blanket, part of the first aid kit, but I also have actual blankets. This also a first aid blanket. This is felt, which means that this is some wool pressed in place. This could be synthetic felt. Let's see the tag. 100% undetermined fibers. Okay. So I'm not sure if it's still wool or synthetic, whatever. It's lightweight and it's heat. Okay, it helps you. I know it's heat stroke weather in the middle of July, but realistically, the Yukon and Alaska, July is their wet season. All the other months are their snowy seasons. So just in case you're getting hypothermiated after a massive loss of blood. Okay, next one. Of course, map, not the earplug, coming up. So, map with a small compass. Yes, you have GPS. Yes, you have cell phones. Yes, you have coverage. What do you do when the screen breaks? Well, now this is a road map. This is not a trail map, but you can, and it's upside down in this orientation, but it's something. Okay, to get you the big idea of whereabouts you are, you kind of have to know, but it gives you the overview of the land. On it you can see some writing. Those are my pencil or writing with Sharpie when I surveyed all of the tools that I need. So I went front axle work, brake work, fork and handlebar, as you can see, the middle, the engine and the foot peg bolts and this and that, and rear axle and rear brake. You can see I only carry the tools that I actually need. That's that. Okay, earplugs. Earplugs, that's for riding all day long, so when you get off the motorcycle you can actually hear something. Next one, head flashlight. That's not negotiable. Make sure the batteries are fresh in it. End of story. Next one, car keys. What's up with this? Of course, okay, motorcycle key. Next one, padlock. This is the disc alarm. Okay, the key for that. You need that. The alarmed disc. If wildlife moves your motorcycle, that's gonna trigger it too. You kind of need an alarmed disc lock. Okay. Next one, just for your house key, and this one is nail clipper slash whatever, small kinds of injuries in the hand. You can, trim the skin, whatever that's in the way, and then so this is also medical stuff a little bit, not minor injuries. Next pile of stuff is what do I do about food and water? Not a whole lot. For what, I don't carry water. Water is extremely heavy. I'm not lugging it and packing it. Okay, I'm making it. I'm filtering it on the spot. if it's not available right away at the yeah, where, you know, White Horse or whatever, at settlements and where people live and there is drinkable water, if I can get some, I'm going to have to make some, especially along the Klondike Trail, because I'm not carrying hours worth of water supply. So I have this thing here. I've taken it out of the box. This is MSR's their Miniworks EX. It comes with a ceramic filter. That's how the product looks like. It's got a siphoning hose. This attaches there on one side of this thing, and then this one is weighed down with this spiral. You can attach a piece of stone with a string on it or whatever, piece of tie wire. That's why I have multiple tie wires also dangling on the equipment here and there on my backpack. So this is taking in the water, and this is filtering. Here is a ceramic filter that you can clean, and is giving you water through that hole there, which then you can collect in your water bottle. Now the threads are not compatible. Tragic. You can still make it work. There, pump some water, done. So that's water. Water gets filtered. Further review and specs and everything later. What do I have here in this water bottle? Over here I have just a water bottle full of protein powder. This one. Okay, I know there is survival food, all kinds of survival food that's pre-packed, and then you need a camping equipment or whatever. This one doesn't need camping equipment, and this is pure and clean and nice protein. Just need to take some out. It works with water, it works with anything. Okay, there. So that's water, that's some food. Now I'm not gonna live on whey protein alone, and of course this water bottle is not filled, it's only about yay full, so I need to get some more whey protein into it. But I don't have a fridge, so what kind of food can I take with me that's dry, that keeps, doesn't spoil, whatever? I'm not gonna have slices of meat and salami. I don't want bears following me. So cracker, something that bears don't eat. Okay, so berries and fish is a bad idea. Okay, so eat something else, figure it out. Next one over here is personal hygiene, whatever personal items, such as hand washing with some soap, not a whole lot of soap, just enough for 10 days or whatever. Okay, this one here in this container looks suspicious. Here, this is orange hand cleaner. Okay, I know you can't smell it through the camera. Orange hand cleaner the mechanics have for oily, greasy, dirty hands. I know we have gloves, but just in case these puncture, rip, tear, whatever, you run out. Plus you also have these ones to handle tire, the wheel, whatever. So you can make it work among these various resources. Next, towel. Not too big, not too small. I don't know, how big is this? This big. Come on, out a little further. There. There. This big. There's my kneecap in the shot. Okay, so that's how big it is. You can barely wrap it around your waist. Okay, I'm not carrying any more towel. That's that. Next one, a pillow. Oh, anything, any size you like, whatever. I want as small as possible. Maybe in combination with those water bottles, something will work. Next over here I have a set of t-shirts, and these are the oily or rags for mopping up oil / blood, whatever. I have here a bunch of t-shirts. You've seen this on me. Some other t-shirts are here. Oh yeah, laundry detergent with these packs. These need to be kept absolutely dry. There, that's how they look like. The little packs, the skin of the little packs dissolves in water or in contact with touch. So don't chew on it, don't give it to your kids, don't give it to the cougar. Watertight. Laundry. Of course you're going to need coins for the laundry. That's where $1 and $2 Canadian coins come in handy. Later, more about those. What do we have here? Kawasaki Ninja, of course, a Ninja t-shirt. Here is Skyview Outdoors. Some of my gear is from Skyview Outdoors. And New Westminster Grand Prix bicycling. More about this later. And of course with the shirts you're gonna need boxers and socks. The number, the type of fiber and the thickness of these totally depend on how you sweat and how you make yourself comfortable and what type of feet you have. So it's up to you to figure out what works with your boots and insoles and everything. This one is good to go for putting in the backpack. Over there with Mr. Beaver I have a cargo pants, very straightforward. It's light and thin, it's long to make it work with deer tick control, but you can, for thermal management or heat control, you can make it short, of course, and it's got lots of pockets on it just in case you want to pick up some interesting stones and fossils or whatever. Over here I have a construction type garment, high-vis vest. There, make yourself visible and make yourself audible. That's why you carry the bells. Make yourself visible so you don't startle the wildlife. Plus it's also good for rescue. I don't know what size it is, so I just wrote 7XL on it. That's my rough guess. Okay, one more sentence about startling wildlife. I am not a ranger, not an expert on wildlife and encounter with wildlife, so I want to emphasize, don't hurt the wildlife. Even though we've talked about the camping axe and carrying a knife, don't hurt the wildlife. Probably they're just curious and want to sniff you, but if you see another human being being mauled by a bear, you might want to go and help, that's all I'm saying. Throughout the video you've seen bits of cordigen rope and carabiners everywhere. The final number of these will be figured out when everything is tied down. The pile is being made over there. The front of the backpack detaches from the main backpack. You can carry the little guy as a day pack as well, or make it into a tank bag and just have it in front of you. So I like this geometric configuration. Oh, I made a change with the protein. Instead of filling this one with protein, I have just put some more into this Ziploc bag I found. It's a sturdy Ziploc bag. What was it? Trail mix. Yeah, you can carry some trail mix. Knock yourself out, and there's protein in it. There. Chocolate protein with that scoop. Works with water. Good to go for putting it away. Over here we have the last bit of... yeah, that's carabiner. Oh, some coins for the washing machine with $1 and $2 Canadian coins in it for later stories, as well as the washing machine. Pill box with multivitamins. I've got here a Deluxe Gold Rush type bowl here. Stainless steel. It's not really a gold penning bowl, but this is your soup bowl and plate, and you can put water in it from the creek and you can wash your face from it, and so it's a multifunction bowl. It is accompanied by this tin opener, which looks like this there, or can opener. Very straightforward and the lightest possible I've ever seen around. And over here we've got a chow kit, fork, knife and spoon together like so. The hydrogen peroxide ended up here next to the toothpaste, comb. That's a toothbrush, and that's a shampoo and a few Q-tips. The Q-tips are also for eye injuries, you can if you have some debris in your eye, whatever, so it's also kind of a little bit of first aid. More trail mix in bags. Yeah, these ones leave garbage behind. You have to carry the garbage, the individual wraps, but I just found it at the bottom of the backpack, so it's years old. Baseball hat or any kind of hat that you like and is well ventilated and works heat management again, as well as sun, so that you being able to see wildlife or approaching danger or avalanche or whatever. That's important. If you want to carry hats with big rims and bug mesh hanging off it, oh yeah, by no means, I'm taking this one. Over here we've got more foams. Oh, I forgot this one. This is a drinking straw. This is more like Okay, this is for water filtration as well, and this one says personal water filter on it. This is more like for an earthquake emergency situation, and it's basically just a carbon filter. I'm just gonna test it, that's what it is. The ceramic pump action filter is my mainstay. This is not producing nowhere near as clean water as the pump action ceramic element filter does. Okay, we've got the motorcycle gloves here yet again for a third time. So it's not only motorcycle riding gear and insect, a protective layer from biting insects, but also it has some foam in it, so I have a foam story. This blue foam, the density of this foam, when you place your weight on the handlebars like so, I figured out that I've been using these for a number of months to make long-term travel a little more easy on the wrist, and I have several of these thin foams. These work the best. Sleeping foam. Okay, I've got different kind of concepts that I've tried. I've got this, I don't know what this is, but it's very squishy and very comfortable, thick, and this is also very thick and is extremely soft. It compresses a whole lot, not too practical for sleeping on it. And I've got this thing here from this brand, and let's look at the sizes instead. It's 5/16 of an inch thick, so it's less than a centimeter, 3/4 of a centimeter, really thin. However, doesn't compress a whole lot, but it does of course compress. So the reason for carrying this foam, take a look at the backpack there with everything on it. It's if I made a roll out of a sheet of this the same size, it would be huge. I have no real way of tying it down, and so I'm gonna carry. Initially I rejected this thin foam. I just said, wow, it's too thin, let's do heavy duty. Yeah, this one is not only light, it actually fits and easy to wrap it. Over here I've got, in this dry sack, one more cover, red, just like that one on the bench, and the tent. This is a 3-person tent, so I can fit all my gear in it and have ample space and whatever, maybe a little drying space inside as well. So these 3 items will be tied to the backpack, left side, right side, and wherever. Something like that is the plan. I'll figure it out. And basically that's everything. I might carry with me a small piece of foam of this black kind, this somewhere behind my back. I can sit on it or something, so I'll figure that when I started hanging many of these items on the backpack. The big cowbell, the little one, these wrist reflectors. I have here a broken, but this is just a reflector from a brake light. Reflective surfaces, as well as this bowl you've seen. This is also a reflective surface for signaling, so I don't have a signal mirror with me. This is good enough and close enough. Alright, let's see how this all fits together so that it's one grab with nothing in my hands. And finally, all of the gear you've seen in this video is either fitted into this backpack or is already on the motorcycle or is going to be worn either around the neck, the camera gear, or just clothes and helmet. I also weighed everything. So motorcycle riding gear, not the camera and the GPS, just the riding gear, 10.5 pounds. Everything else that I have to carry on my back, this stuff with the camera gear and GPS, 52 pounds. 52, that's 24 kilograms roughly. So 52 pounds plus the 10.5 pounds is 62.5 pounds, which is about 28 kilograms. It's heavy, but is manageable. How this is all packed up is softies are on the outside surrounding the items that can detonate on me, notably the bear spray, the air horn can also detonate, and the digital scale doesn't detonate, but I don't want to break it, so it's cradled and surrounded. by soft foam, soft blanket. The tent isn't too soft, but it's not a hard item either. And on the bottom is the second blanket, the pillow, the towel, the rain gear that I can pull out from there, all softies, cushioning, all this. The heavy items have been placed closer to the back, and it's also been balanced left and right, so I'm not walking heavy on the left or whatever. So, notably, some items are not mentioned and not shown because they don't exist. I don't carry them. Some of these include coffee, tea, chocolate, any kind of drugs, and any kind of beverages. There's nothing. There's water. That is it. End of the list. Another one is camping furniture. There are no camping chairs, folding chairs, or any kind of seating arrangement. I'm going to be sitting on a motorcycle all day long. I don't want to sit down when I arrive. I want to discover or stretch my legs and go somewhere, see places, meet people. Okay, I don't need a lawn furniture. Plus, I'm not paying $200 or whatever exorbitant prices for 3 pieces of stick and a triangular piece of canvas. So that's camping furniture. I also don't have anything that relates to cooking and heating up meals. There are no hot meals. You've seen whey protein, trail mix, that's basically it. Crackers and something dry that doesn't need fridge. There is no hot meals. There were hot meals in the 1870s and 1890s. Yeah, on the steamship. Probably there was a cantina, and maybe they had a hot meal on Sunday or something like that. So for most people, hot meals just weren't a reality. Likewise. And finally, let me show you the last pile of items there, the ropage and cord. It's gonna be sorted out later, and this is how it all fits. Like I said, it's not easy. It's quite heavy. There. Fantastic. All I need to do is figure out how this all fits on the motorcycle. Somehow tie it down, and then I'm basically good to go.